the House of Commons. It's understood the government will be accepting all 4 proposed amendments from Tory Brexiters. Well, joining me now from our Westminster studio is Stephen Dorrell, a former Conservative MP and Minister in John Major's cabinet, when Mr Major told his backbench critics over Europe to put up or shut up, provoking a leadership election. He's now chairman of the European Movement, which is an independent cross-party organisation committed to keeping the UK in the EU. Mr Dorrell, a full biography there for you. Thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. Yes, people know all about you now. As I just said, the government has indicated that it's going to accept these 4 amendments from Conservative backbench Brexiters, thereby altering that very carefully balanced checkers agreement that Mrs May had drawn up. What do you think of that? Well,
I think it rather begs the question, doesn't it, this evening, who governs Britain? We had the Cabinet spent the whole day, not much more than a week ago, hammering out a set of compromise proposals. That was followed by the resignation of 2 of the principal ministers with responsibilities associated with the Brexit process. But and then the government is now in the House of Commons and amending the position that it spent the whole of last Friday hammering out, and which led to 2 ministerial resignations. These are amendments that have been tabled by a faction within the Conservative Party that doesn't reflect, I don't believe, the majority view of the British people, which is why I think what we now need is a commitment to take this process, as Justine Greening said this morning, back to the British people, because Parliament, frankly, cannot make a decision for which there is any legitimacy.
More on that idea of a second referendum in a moment, but if the Conservative Brexiters don't reflect what the British people think, they clearly reflect enough of the opinion on the Conservative benches to worry the government, which is presumably why they've given in.
Well, precisely, but this can't be an internal discussion within the Conservative Party. It's supposed to be a negotiation between Britain and the EU. The EU 27 must be waiting for somebody to invite their opinion on all of this process, more than 2 years since the referendum. But the fact is that, in my view, neither the government's version, still less the Jacob Rees-Mogg version, neither of those are what the British people thought they were voting for in 2016. So this is a process that's been committed back to Parliament. But Parliament, as Justine Greening said this morning, is gridlocked. It's simply incapable of making a decision on this issue, which is why I think we need to take it back to the people.
But people, Brexiters who are perfectly happy with the outcome, would say that you are simply wanting a second referendum because you disagree with the result of the first one.
No, that's not the reason why. I quite specifically say the reason why I think there's a case now for a people's vote, and indeed I think it's the only way the issue can be resolved, is that I think it becomes day by day clearer, frankly, that there isn't a version of Brexit which can command a majority in the House of Commons. Our system committed it back to Parliament, but I don't believe that there are many people on either side of the argument that think that Parliament is going to produce a workable long-term solution, which is why only the people can decide it.
When I introduced you, I said that you were a member of John Major's government when he urged his backbench critics to put up or shut up. How does what's going on now compare to what was happening then?
Well, I think the big difference between John Major's cabinet, which clearly had lots of trouble on this issue, and Theresa May's cabinet, is that John Major at least led a cabinet which had a policy. Not everybody agreed with it, to put it mildly, but we did have a policy, and we were able, with difficulty, to maintain support in the House of Commons. That's clearly not the position with Theresa May's cabinet. She's lost key members in resignations, and then, having done that, then has to change her policy to keep her party on side. As I started off this conversation by saying, the question today is who governs Britain?
OK, we're going to have to leave it there. Mr Dorrell, many thanks indeed. Stephen Dorrell there, former Conservative MP. Thank you.